This is the most famous intersection of Tianjin, known as the Five Roads. The area takes its name from the 5 roads that run parallel to the winding Machang Road. The significance of this area lies in the remarkable intactness of the multicultural residences built here. Upon construction, each residence boasted nothing less than cutting-edge style in Western Europe. The area has an English garden suburb ambience to it, particularly in the west, where the street layout is of large blocks and the buildings are located on generous parcels of land. It is rare, even for a modern city today, to have such a large urban area in which all the buildings were constructed over a period of only 2 decades. The most amazing thing of all is that all the buildings are still intact nearly 100 years later, defeating even the great Tianjin earthquake in 1976. Beside me here is the former residence of Eric Liddell. He lived here till he was about 5 years old before returning to Scotland. In 1924, he won the gold medal for the 400-meter dash at the Olympic Games. After this, he returned to Tianjin and taught English to middle school children. During World War II, he was sent to the Weifang Japanese concentration camp, where he died in 1945. A memorial, both Chinese and Scottish, still remain in Shandong province. Although this building shows only remnants of his life in China, Eric Liddell still holds a special place in the hearts of the world. His remarkable story of triumph as an Olympic champion is how most of us know him. The famous movie Chariots of Fire was based on his life. But after the Olympics, he returned to North China where he served as a missionary. He showed his dedication to this country as an educator and as a patriot during the time of war. These other survivors of the same Japanese concentration camp remember Eric Liddell's greatness not only as an athlete, but as a man. Behind me here is the former residence of George Catlett Marshall, a 5-star general of the American Army. He was the commanding officer of the 15th Infantry of the American Army brought into Tianjin, China. In 1945, he was appointed head of the U.S. mission to China with personal rank as ambassador. Until December of '46, he attended major meetings in China with nationalist and communist officials in attempts to mediate the war. December of 1953, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for formulating the Marshall Plan, a program of economic and military aid to foreign nations. In 1959, General Marshall died in Washington, D.C. Here we find the former residence of Yuan Shikai, the leader of the first modernized army, who eventually became president of the Republic of China. In 1915, he declared imperial restoration and pronounced himself as China's latest emperor. He succeeded, bringing Guangxi, Guizhou, and other breakaway provinces back into the imperial ambit. However, 83 days after his declaration, he passed away.
这房子这个房子第一个特点叫隐身处，就把身隐起来的地方。这个特点，你看这个房子非常小，也看不出任何房子，到那前面就是门了。但是这里边很有特点，来里边再看看，好吗？这隐身处你看非常有特点，就是很小的房间进来之后，它是曲径通幽的，里边侧面出了一个楼梯，这个楼梯上边是通到顶楼的，下边通到地下室的。 就在任何时候都能把人藏起来、隐藏起来，这个是房子的一个非常特点，而且隐藏人很多能隐藏起来，几十人都行，这也是房子第一个特点。第二个特点，它就是脱身处，脱身处。咱刚才不看隐身处，脱身处，这地方有个铁梯子，这铁梯子一直通到这个后花园里边。后花园当时是个绿树掩映的地方，有草有树的地方，非常神秘的地方，所以随时能脱身。脱身之后跑得非常快，这就是脱身的地方。 这是咱第二个特点。这个房间的第3个特点，风水楼，也叫风水窗，来看看。OK。来。 喜欢这么多啊。你看这个海河呀，这个整个的是海河，海河呢，这个房间非常这个明亮的房。这个海河就是水，这个中国传统水为财，就象征着无数的财富源源不尽的流进了它的原始大楼，这是它的一种迷信的说法。这就是它的房间的第3个特点，就风水楼的风水窗。这风水楼是8角楼。
Here is the former residence of the last Emperor Puyi. In 1925, him and his family came here after being evicted from the Beijing Forbidden City. It's separated into 3 different courtyards, one residential, one work, and one recreational area. It's currently being used as a children's library. Puyi was only 19 years old when he fled here with his wife Wan Rong. Puyi held many meetings and interviews in the rooms of this structure, while frequenting the Astor Hotel for entertainment. This residence was warmly welcomed to Puyi by Zheng Shun in support of the emperor. Now, with the birds chirping in the courtyard and the children books lining the walls, I think the emperor would be happy with what his residence is used for today.
这是意大利建筑风格。1925年的2月24号到1929年的7月，末代皇帝溥仪和他的皇后婉容、他的淑妃文秀曾经在这里边居住。溥仪和皇后呢住在2楼，他的这个妃子呢住在1楼，文秀住在1楼。当时呢，有许多的清朝的遗老遗少们到这里来拜见这个溥仪。
Lined along the walls of his past home, we find many old black and white photographs of Puyi and the friends he acquainted with. In this photograph, we find many formal officials dressed up in the traditional wear of the time, giving respect to their emperor. Here is Jingyuan. Puyi lived here from 1929 to 1931, until he was sent by the Japanese to northeast China. Today, there is silence among the bricks of the old building. Upon arrival, we were told that 100 families were moved out of this residence in order for the municipal government to begin its restoration. I had to smile a little to myself as I thought of how a structure able to house 100 families once belonged to the emperor all by himself.